Ignore that look for starters. But anyways, this is George, and this is
Maria. He
she
said,
got her name. She remembered her name. I had to tell her name before we got started, so she'll remember her name.
remember what?
Yeah, I'm George. You're Maria. So, anyways, what we're going to talk about today is the reality of getting sick in the Philippines. This is not always the is what people expect. The reality is different. The reason I'm doing it, you can hear I'm sick, and she's going to tell you what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you about my current experience, like right now, what I'm dealing with. It's respiratory. I'm assuming, and I'm going to give you what I think happened, and we'll kind of give you the scenario of what I've been going through. But then she is the extreme of the situation that we're going to go through. So mine right now is respiratory. I have a feeling, theory, hypothesis, where the vector is from. We get massages, and they'll be massaging your back, massaging your legs, and all of a sudden they'll reach around and they'll start massaging your face. And Maria says, "Well, tell them to stop. When I'm sitting there enjoying the massage, I'm not thinking about nothing. I'm trying to enjoy the massage. And before I know it, they got their fans all in my face. And I think that's where I got the respiratory problem. But there was a volcano that went off, and the city has been covered with this overhaze. It looks like pollution, which I guess it would be considered pollution from the volcano. That's the reason people keep saying, did you look at the city? Have you seen the city? So that being said, I'm not sure, but all I can tell you, mine's been sinus, respiratory kind of thing, and it's not been that cool. Obviously, we had a hard time finding some of the medications that I was hoping to find, and she found me some Robitussin DM. She's putting coconut down me now, a lot of water, just rest, to but move around. If you don't move around, chest doesn't move and all that good stuff. So, and plus we got this right here. This is a local water. How do you say that?
Pocari Sweat, that's supposed to be like electrolytes, but it's still got sugar in it. So I got more natural for you.
So she took my M&M's container and she dumped it, filled it full of coconut. So,
No, this is like portable pitcher, you know?
but I ain't sweating it. She thinks she's got me, but you can see that this could be part of my health issue. And that's all that was in there. Can you believe that? Right.
That's less than a month
What?
consume.
We weren't going to talk
He
about
eats
that.
that
You're just going
every
to show them
day.
the container. But anyways, that being said, when you're going to these hospitals, um, you're dealing with some issues. And well, I gave you some visuals here to kind of make it up. Long wait times. What do you think about the wait times?
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
Explain to where we normally go and how that works because my voice is kind of out. So you're going to host it more than me.
Um, so there are different clinics and hospitals in the Philippines for us in Cebu mainly, but we go to Cebu Docs. Um, and that's where I had my surgery. But even though, regardless which hospital or clinics you go to, majority of them have long wait times. They don't have urgency, regardless if it's an emergency. So be aware. So if even if you're dying, I don't see the sense of going to emergency, but we did anyway. Um,
It was out of necessity. She didn't get it. I mean, we suspected appendicitis to some degree, but they blew it off. And
yeah.
but that's what it is. What it turned off. What I'm going to interrupt here for a second is the way it works different than the United States is you come in, you find wherever the doctor's at. It's not like there's just a list and you can call their phone number. Sometimes phone numbers don't work. Their staff is in and out. Their phone, I guess, is right there at their desk until you can actually find that person. That doesn't mean nothing. That just means you went there, find out where you need to come back again after the fact. It might be a day or two later or something like that, unless it just happens to be an open-ended first come first serve type of situation. And so that is like two delays before you actually get seen, and that's only for the initial doctor consultation. No diagnostics have been done or anything at that point. Now you got to take the prescriptions, go get the diagnostics done, wait for the diagnostics to get back, then return those and go back to the physician again for another consultation. And then at that point, there'll be at some given point, he can write prescriptions, but then you start looking at a treatment plan. That's a long time. Okay. So, because Maria's coming to the United States, but she don't know how we do it. Ours is go in, the diagnostics. If the doctor's going to put you in the hospital, he's going to do it right then and there. He'll see you there. He'll be over there when he does his rounds to see his patients that have been admitted, and then it goes from there. So there's a delay in this. So you got to be proactive and I call it prophylactic about your treatment when you're dealing with something. That's the reason I literally have an EKG behind me, got blood pressure, a TSAT, temperature. I keep medications here. We keep vitamins, try to maintain a healthy lifestyle, that type of stuff. And so keep that in mind. But anyways, so the wait times, they get pretty bad. You know, we've actually went from place to place just because the lines were so in depth, deep, that I was like, well, you're actually pushing your health further by going through this heat. The heat and the cold, which ain't really that cold, but it does make a difference when you run an AC inside your house and then you go outside and it's hot outside and then you're living next to the ocean.
Sudden change of temperature.
Yeah, so that changes everything.
On top of that, that physician and back and all that, hospitals and clinic are often crowded, so be ready to wait. A lot of Western are impatient, but if you don't want to wait, then don't go. Otherwise, it's still a guessing game. Sometimes they're not busy, some clinics are not. So if you think it's just asking for prescription for a medicine that you already know that you're taking, then go to that particular doctor. Like we have a doctor in Lapu-Lapu, they're not always busy. So if he runs out of that particular medicine that he's already been taking, then we just go back there and ask for another, you know.
But yeah, if you got somebody in particular that knows who you are now, when I'm sick, I'm not really in the mood to fight. I'm a fighter. You know, whether the United States made me that way or not, I don't want to hear your excuses. But like when she got sick and for the appendicitis, you know, I mean, I think I even offered to pay them off to not play around, go to head the line. But I made it real clear that second time we've been there. And so she could have died at the house. Now, let me tell you something. I'm going to give it from my point of view, too. If she had died in this house, now that throws me as the culprit while they're doing an autopsy on her and everything. What was her method of dying? They can literally throw me in jail, make sure I don't go nowhere in case I was at fault for her death. Okay, I'm dead serious about that. So keep that in mind.
Trouble was there was no right symptoms
Now
that was showing.
you know, she wasn't asymptomatic. It was not the typical signs and symptoms that you would have seen based on the given underlying diagnostics or the diagnosis. So
If not for CT, it would have not been sane.
CT, and because they sent her home, she's getting better, you know, and she was not getting better. She was, you know,
I felt better because I passed out. They bombarded me with medicine of pain reliever medicine and sent me back home because I felt better. And then tomorrow I still feel discomfort. It wasn't pain, that's the thing. Maybe my pain tolerance for that particular situation was not as low.
down enough property. This is the thing about pain. Learn this in medicine. Don't disguise the underlying problem. Okay, like for me, when I have anxiety, I take part of a Xanax because I have PTSD. But I also have to always keep in mind when I take that Xanax, am I disguising something else that's going on with me? So you have to be careful. You need the symptoms to be the symptoms so you can diagnose it if it's a life-threatening situation. And in her case, that's exactly what I feel like would happen.
And it was mix of everything. I was on my period. I had weak body and
I was dealing
with dysmenorrhea, right? And we weren't really getting good sleep back then until we went back again.
Within 24 hours.
Yeah. And even though we were already demanding for the doctor, as I said, there's really no urgency and makes me think that they don't really care. The hospital is just business as well.
And nothing, I had a rental car. So what if I didn't have a rental car and I have to take public transit to get there? And public transit don't run all night. And we were going late at night.
Like midnight, literally like 12 midnight. And it's isolated where we're currently living.
It's isolated everywhere. This city shut down about 9. Okay?
We're not in business area.
If you're going to call the ambulance, you might as well throw her in the back of a trike or a jeepney. It's just as quick. Okay, those ambulances don't have no level of care. So
so be ready with your transportation, Sometimes you just have to throw a tantrum like George does. Like, what did you do that made them actually call the doctor? Because they had us waiting outside.
I mean, some bitch down.
He literally does that sometimes because it's actually urgent, you know. But um, yeah, so be aware about the wait time, your transport. Um, but again, if it's just prescription, you don't really have to throw a
Yeah.
tantrum. I don't
If you
think
go to
so.
the hospital and they're not there to give you the level of care, chest pains, shortness of breath, any of that is priority. ABCs, airway, breathing, circulation. If any of those are compromised, that's not a daily sickness. And she was
Yeah.
definitely vomiting. I mean, everything. She needed immediate attention. And it still was a delay to the next morning. And I stayed up all night. I was really stressed. And I'll be honest, when she went to surgery, I really thought I may never see her again. I actually cried. And because it's like, who's going to cook for me? You know what I mean? But
Where am I gonna bury her? Thoughts like that. I don't even have contact to her family.
yeah, yeah. I didn't even have no contact information for none of her family. I was like, dude, you better put all that mess in your phone from now. I better be able to find them. But she wants to play that little kitty stuff. They all do because they don't understand the level of urgency and the things that happen in life. They've got this childish mentality about what life really is. I can't. I don't afford. I'm not afforded that luxury because I've seen the puppet show. I've had kids down me that man, they weren't even 2 years old. I mean, people don't get it.
So since then, every time George is feeling, I'm having chest pain, all that pain. Do you want to see a doctor? Because to me, I'm like, I didn't even know that was pain.
Y'all fix to see a fight break out. Yeah.
But no, to me, it's like if I feel unusual, it's just discomfort. I don't see or feel it as pain. That's the problem with me. But with him, it's like I'm hurting here, I'm hurting that, so I can't really tell neither.
Thing is, I have to be ahead of the time because she's saying that, but you have to understand. I'm looking at the variables between here and there. And in the United States, if I was to get called out on a call, it takes us an average minimum of 30 minutes to get there. People don't realize how fast minutes go by. By the time I get there, if you're already respiratory arrest, you're dead. Okay, you're already way beyond brain damage. People say, da, da. We're just showing up there and putting on a show. And you know, I don't think there's going to be many people that are going to disagree with me on that. Anything else, as long as your vascular system's intact and everything's moving, we probably pretty much we got a good fighting chance. But that being said, being here with the level of understanding, the level of urgency, even for the nursing staff and stuff, they don't get it. You
Yeah.
know,
Even when
I've never even seen a crash cart.
you arrived back to our room, right? Because we had a private room, so we were still working then, even when we were already in the ER. But you arrived back to the hospital and no one was there. He caught me in the bathroom by myself with my IV and stuff, all that paraphernalia around me on my own,
They had
and he he lashed.
had antibiotics going and everything. This was post surgery though, but they had her in there, antibiotics pumping away because she had that it was a ruptured appendix. So now she was septic, and so they were pumping with you know all these
IV
antibiotics.
and antibiotics. Yeah.
Obviously, it's a drip to for the IV, and there was nobody assisting her. Okay, and yeah, so me and the nurses station, about 12 nurses that were there, we
Yeah.
had. Do you want to visit the spirit world? Because I'm not your buddy. I'm nobody's buddy in that life.
He
I
left.
don't owe a bow knee to no president, nobody on this earth except my creator. That's it, and I will never change my mind about that. And I don't even care what people. And once you hit a certain age, how you don't give a rat's ass what anybody thinks about you because you don't
Yeah.
got nothing for me. You've never benefited off of me, and I've never benefited off of you. Whatever you want in this life, you got to go get it. That's the way this works. Okay,
Yeah.
you and your little buddy partnerships, they will act like you're your buddies for life, and the whole time they're manipulating behind their back, and it's not even their fault. They can't help it. I was raised by a very blessed generation. If I'm going to do something to you, I'll let you know straight to your face, so you know you need to adjust your condition accordingly because I cannot do that. I've got to have the benefit of this. So I'll give you. I'll even help you find another strategy. But that's the way the world really exists.
So even though they're trained and they're nurses, you can't leave your loved ones or your companion or whoever that person is for you to that hospital because even though they're supposedly trained to care, they don't.
It's supposed to be holistic care, mind, body, and spirit. If one of those is out of balance, then it affects the other two. If my mind's out of sequence, then it's going to affect my body and it's going to affect my spirit.
Now I pressed that button 3 times and nobody came, so and I had to pee. I just had
Yeah.
to get up the
You
bedroom.
should have seen her before she even pressed the button, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
There should have been a staff down there. But I guarantee, I'm telling you, that was the last time that happened.
But
They
he
were
warned them
paranoid.
before he left. He said you can't leave her on her own, and if she pressed that button, blah blah blah, before he left to get us clothes in the
Yeah,
house.
it's that nice. Trust me on
Yeah.
that.
And when he arrived, I was in the bathroom. He just shut up
I told them
because
what's going
nobody
to happen,
was there.
and I will be right back. Had to do
Yeah.
something. I've got what's like some of the stuff, literally, you can either get it from the pharmacist. It ain't like it just they got a
Yeah.
Pyxis in there. You're pulling it out and you're getting charged for it. You have to go get it, and that's probably the best way. So at least you know what you're paying for the products. You're not getting charged for a whole bottle of aspirin, and you only took one, right? So that being said, I went and got all the supplies and stuff, and make sure I got the right stuff because I knew what I was looking for. So I went and got all of her stuff, and I had to go to different ones because some of them were overpriced. And when the hospital, I could go right next door. There was Mercury, other one called
Rose
Rose Pharmacy,
Pharmacy, different
and
pharmacies.
so I got her stuff, and I was got her some liquids because she could was allowed to take stuff orally. Um, but that being said,
Yeah, you
yeah,
can't
I was
trust
pissed
them.
off.
You can't trust them.
Now, limited comfort. The rooms, I was laying on a bench. I laid a blanket over it, and I laid blankets over the pillows. I did everything I can. I had Lysol sprayed down the walls, all that stuff because MRSA, that's multi-drug resistant staph. My throat's going out, y'all. Sorry, but the comfort was not good for you being there assisting your loved one. She had a bed. Everything worked on it. Nothing automatic. Everything's manual. Manual crank feet, manual crank head, all that stuff.
Drink,
The
baby.
mattress seemed to be good. They didn't change the linens out one time while I was there. Okay. The linens she stayed on for that week, she stayed on. And that was disturbing. But I did point everything out to her because I didn't want her to think, oh my God, you're being over dramatic. What can I tell her? But that being said, the doctors did come in on general rotations. They didn't come in. I had to actually request the doctor come up. Let's take a look at this. We're sitting here a week. Being said, that's the living condition. Anything you want to say that you might experience when you was inside that hospital?
Just what's indicated there. Don't expect the same standards you're used to
Yeah.
because it'd be totally different here, even though it be considered as private or semi-private hospital. Now, for public hospital, that's totally different situation. Yeah. Let's not even talk about it. But I'm just saying, I can't suggest public hospitals. People here go to public hospitals because they can't afford it.
Coconut tree, lay up under it with a coconut, and lay there and die.
If you can't afford it, don't even think twice. Go to either Cebu Docks, St. Luke's if you're in Manila, or Chonghua. I'm not a fan of business, so I'd rather go to Cebu Docks.
Now, Chamwan is a Korean-based hospital. Now, some of these doctors did actually do medical school or some aspect of it in the U.S. So
Yeah,
that you do have a
some
family
doctors.
for, and some of these folks do have family in the United States. Not that that means anything, but
Majority of our doctors actually been to the United
yeah,
States,
that's the
and
reason
you
we
can
pick them
tell.
out. We hold them to their list.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I know how to look at their degrees. They change the format of degrees as they go through the years, but so you got to be. You don't want them to have a knockoff, and it don't really exist. People will lie about stuff. Third world country. Third world actually means something. That's the title. Cost adds up fast. We paid for every single thing cash. Didn't have no insurance. She can explain about her insurance deal. But that being said, I think we paid something like $6,000 for a week stay, the surgery, and everything. That's not bad. But what if I had not had that much money on us? And they were not going to let her leave that hospital without a payment.
Yeah, that too.
Well, I became a real prick. You can't hold people hostage because they didn't make a payment on the thing. What the hell are you gonna do? Keep charging them day by day by day? Hey, let's let it keep going up. That don't make no sense. So
Yeah. We had a scene about that
yeah,
before we
like I
even
said,
left.
you want to make me feel like a fool? You know what? I have nothing literally better to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And as long as you don't put your hands on me, I'm fine. I'm not threatening you. Okay. I'm gonna put it in a way you're gonna feel like I'm threatening you, but I'm not threatening you. I know how to say what I need to say without making an actual threat. But you're gonna feel and understand everything that I just said. With
So
that being said, explain to them about your insurance, baby, what you want to say.
yeah, there are different insurances here. We didn't really have one, and we don't have one. I don't find it necessary, and we can pay cash anyway. But for some BPO folks, we can, so we have, if for those BPO folks, they have their own insurances where they can just go any doctors they want to go to as long as that's associated or linked with that insurance company. For us, if you want to purchase, if you see the necessity of having one, there's MaxiCare. Do your own study, but I had MaxiCare. It was pretty good.
That's
They,
something through your work, correct?
yeah. Hospitals, I think they accept card or cash. So
Oh, they accepted that cash, didn't
for us, we did the,
they? I think we still screwed with them, by the way.
yeah,
We had the money. We
we
still
had the
made it where
money.
they had to. I made it hard for them because it was bullcrap, you know. But we don't want no resistance. We want to get back to the states
The
right
head of,
now. If you know anything about insurance that's cheap that we can get when we come back to the United States, we would appreciate that. So please, if you can go to Truck Driver Nation, that's our website. That's where we teach people how to work from home as freight dispatchers. Please go to there. Go to the home page of truckdrivernation.com. Go. She's giving me that look like you're advertising. She's always like that. But anyways, go down there. There's a QR code for Telegram. If you just pop a picture of that, it'll get directly to me. So if you know somebody we can get insurance from, please, we do need it. She don't realize how necessary insurance is in the United
no,
States.
I know, I know.
Without insurance in the United States, you can't do nothing.
Yeah, it ain't like in the Philippines. I can understand that. I just got lost where I was, what I was talking about.
Baby, you're in the living room. Your name's Maria.
I totally forgot what I was gonna say.
Something about insurance or paying the bills or
Oh, the head of the billing literally said to us in that hospital that they see me having a ATM machine. That's how the scene started. We had the money. We didn't have problem paying them. We just, tested the water if we can actually make the payments because that's probably the highest bill we paid a long time.
like I say, she better be glad. I mean, I look 6,000 ain't nothing, but I know me. Okay. If I hadn't known her very long and she just been somebody I randomly met, I'd have cut her loose because I'm not getting pulled off into somebody else's life. But I'm actually physically, mentally. I mean, we're in a relationship. We actually care for each other. We love each other, and we're at that level now. So it ain't really like we just back out. It'd be a lot of feelings hurt, and we're at that point. So
So if you want to stress
I didn't
yourself,
feel obligated to her. I felt like this was. I'm not saying my mother. You know what I mean? This is family. You don't never step away from family. Even if we separated down the road, if she needed help, yes, just like my brothers. I'm not up my brothers' butts every day, but if they need something, let me know. I'll tell you where I can help. So, yeah. But we wanted to get paid off, so we ain't got no issues about leaving this place.
so
But
just a tip, we handled that the way, like, supposedly they didn't agreed, but we insisted. So instead of paying it as a whole cash, we made it 50-50, 50% to the hospital and 50% for the doctor or for my surgeon. There was actually two doctors that handled my procedure, so we just handed the 50% to my surgeon.
been cheaper. I gotta believe that.
Yeah. So thanks for my surgeon and for removing my band-aid.
Yeah, and that woman that worked in that what was that billing office? If I
Yeah.
ever see you on the street, I'll make sure to say hello.
Right. Moving forward, we have
Okay, the medication's
medication.
different. Run your meds. Make sure you do the indications and contraindications, the half life, all that thing based on these, because the compound components that make certain medications are not the exact same. So you definitely need to understand what you're allergic to, what you're not allergic to, what's worked best for you in the past, because the side effects may be different for you in these given scenarios. I do my best. I love my wife. Don't get me wrong. Love her, love her, love her.
When he says that, I can already feel the energy.
But yeah, so don't depend on them to have the level of understanding if you've actually been trained in medicine. Okay, it's just not going to be there. I don't talk medical terminology to her. How stupid would that be? But just remember, you don't want some secondary medication. Obviously, make sure everything's within date. Not saying that we all know the expiration dates are there for their own reasons, right? Because if they're synthetic, composed components, there really ain't no expiration date other than being exposed to light, oxygen, and things like that, like say for nitroglycerin and stuff. So that being said, make sure do due diligence. Don't just use AI. Make sure you go to an actual script site like RX or whatever it would be, so that you can cross-reference those meds, see which ones are actually used, and don't all these little home remedies. I wouldn't lean on that. Go with what you know, because this is your health. Okay. But that being said, there's a lot of different variants based on the type of pharmacy. They've got pharmacies for poor people. Literally, it's just like that. And then they got regular pharmacies that some people just can't afford. Now, are some home remedies suitable? Yes, like steam water. I've had science break that up to make it get loosened by heat, having heat and steam in your lungs. Reduce the pressure tension or the viscosity, for example, of mucus. So you want to do this, but also make sure you're making the right decision for the indication for that medication, right? Okay, just like the Robitussin, right? DM. Is this going to be right under two different circumstances? Is this going to actually cause bacterial growth in my lungs by making it where I'm not coughing it up? Or is it going to actually decrease it by allowing me to get more surface area for O2 exchange or gas exchange, right? So that being said, make sure that you understand the protocol and what it would be given. I mean, if you got family in medicine, we'll reach out to them. Don't just go on your own theory, because remember, you're sick. You're not thinking clearly. Or if for somebody else, make sure you understand their medical history. When she jabbers, okay, I love her to death, but she doesn't always give me the right information based on what I'm asking because of the medical training. So remember, you got to go back to the basic level to decipher the basics. Stick with the basics first, because if you don't get a clear basic understanding, you could unnecessarily do harm. So keep that in mind.
Not all your medications are available here.
Yeah,
Like this
Mucinex are.
one, he didn't know about this. He was looking for Mucinex, and we had Bell to go around different pharmacies like
But
Mercury
now,
Drug.
see what I'm saying? She's missing two things. This does two different things. Mucinex does one factor. Okay, so the one that I was worrying about here was the reduction in the cough, because that's what the DM's for. So if that reduces my cough effect, then that doesn't allow me to actually keep coughing. Is that a pro or con? The Mucinex actually loosens up phlegm, and that's what I'm talking about. So there's always those factors that they're not considering. You that have an education,
Baby,
you
I
have to
wasn't done
consider.
yet.
But
I
anyways,
was just saying that you can find all your medicines here. So for this one, he had the components that he was looking for, hence we bought this one. But otherwise, if Mucinex was available, we could have bought that. I think that was 1,100 some crap peso. So for this one, this is like 200 something. Not all your medications are available here. So find the components, look at Watson's, because Watson's have a lot of imported crap, but they didn't have the Mucinex. Mercury Drug didn't have it. Rose didn't have it.
but you can find it on shopping. But that's
Yeah.
after the fact. So I'm not saying stockpile meds. You need to stockpile some of the basic stuff just to already have them in the house,
Yeah.
because you're going to get something. There's no winners here. Microbial growth is beautiful. It's everywhere.
The Tylenol, what do you say about the Tylenol? We call that here biogesic.
But it said there. What's the name of the one that you get that we get
Yeah, that
normally?
one is biogesic.
Okay, so biogesics Tylenol based. It's not an NSAID. So yes, NSAIDs have their thing, but if you have blood pressure problems, you don't want NSAID. Anyways, I'm preaching about medicine. Didn't mean to get off into this. Sorry, y'all.
These are the common medications that you need to know about. The pollution, you may need to have this at some point. Biogesic, because of the pollution still, it causes you headache and all that. Body pain, that covers by the biogesic. So we always have them.
Back to this again.
Now he said this is placebo, but this
if you're
helps your
this
throat, dry throat.
It is the Filipino all-in-one everything.
It's a menthol candy.
Tastes like pork chops. It'll make it taste like hamburgers.
And I find these things important because you're Western and you don't know these things because you have your own names, but the components are in it. So you may want to have this at some point. Again, Robitussin DM. Snow Bear is not a medicine. It just helps your dry throat.
Snow Bear. Literally.
Vicks. Tell them about the Vicks. Because it's really pollution. If you like going on a motorcycle, that's not even a question that you will have. First, dry throat.
You got to get out of the city.
Dry throat.
The dry throat is secondary to all the dirt and stuff. They don't sweep the roads. It's nasty. And all I can tell you is, if you get out of the city, when we went out of the city, we never had no problems. It's really clean out there. Well, pollution's not.
We had the car. That's why we had the car for years.
It was uncomfortable because of the sun whooping our butt, but as far as the air quality, it's totally different. Even now, we're along the edge of the ocean. We got it better because we got a cross breeze that pushes the pollution out of our given area. But that being said, these cities just.
So you're aware again.
There's no emissions. They're blowing white smoke, black smoke.
Fumes. All that pollution will start mainly in because I traveled and some they were English from England. There are three brothers and one sister, and they got sick. They first had sore throat, sniffles, and you get fever and you get body pain. Those are the main beginning of having sick from pollution. So I had that Colgate Colgate mouthwash. You can gargle with that and then have aspirin or Snow Bear, and if it gets worse, then Robitussin and Tylenol or Biogesic if you have those. When I travel, those are the things I always have in my medicine kit.
Yeah, she keeps me a baby bag.
Yeah.
So
as much as I'm not medically trained, I have my experience.
No, see that y'all see how the fight starts?
Anyway,
that's how it starts.
He'll start lifting up, and then I'll have to give him Xanax or
you know how it goes. Here, baby, give me a piece of a Xanax. I get a piece, and then she wants a piece. She likes giving me a piece because she knows she gets a piece.
Okay, moving forward.
Language barriers.
Yeah, language barrier.
It can be a challenge in some places, especially outside the city. It's not just the language, by the way. It's the cultural understanding. Words mean certain things to other people. That's a problem. I literally get her because everybody thinks I'm screaming. Dude, I can't help that. Ex-military, everything else, 18-wheelers. I've had a lot of high-level decimal exposure, and it's made it where I'm just kind of hard of hearing it to some degree. We went and tested. I've got a certain zone that I'm kind of missing in. And I said, well, you can get hearing aids to do it, but it ain't a noise zone that I'm needing. But the thing is, because that noise decimal area is missing, I get ringing ears. So that being said, just keep that in mind when you're actually talking to people. They look at your tone, and I have a strong voice just because that's what it is.
They always think that he's upset or yelling at them.
I don't care what you're doing. I don't care. I really don't care what other people do. It's your problem.
So to make it easy,
if you beat your damn kid in front of me, well, guess what? I come from a loving family just like that. You must have done some shit that brought that down on your head. But
to make it easy, if you know, or if you have, companion or somebody that can actually somehow understand you.
Hold up. A companion, somebody that actually cares about you. That makes a big difference. She cares about me. So she looks out for my interests. And she asks me questions, based on it. Now, I still have to understand her. What are we talking about? Because since I didn't hear the language, I don't understand what they've already communicated about. And she'll start arguing with me because I'm missing the message. She doesn't take that into consideration. I don't know what y'all just said. How am I supposed to know? All I can tell you is these are the variables that I know. And so I'm not saying I'm an all-inclusive, all-knowing person. I just know, given the scenario, these are the major factors I'm looking at. All the micro stuff, then I can adjust to that too. But some stuff just doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if you go left or right. It's not going to make a big difference. But she cares about me, so I know she's looking out my best interest. But if we keep repeating it, I get frustrated because it shouldn't
If
be that much
if
to it.
your translator asks you something, just answer it because it makes it difficult to translate it to somebody. Like, you want yellow? No. Yes or no? Just that. Don't ask about what the conversation was about because sometimes it's just chatting and it's just a waste of time, really, you know?
See, that's where we disagree because sometimes I need to know the context. You know what I mean? What's the context? The context means a lot in some
Because
stuff.
then the other individual will ask, okay, what he said, and you just want to get the important
That's
information
part of
for
being a
those two.
translator. But be careful with that. It can backfire on you. So yeah,
To make it easy to, most of the time, he will ask immediately if they can speak English, speak and understand
I'll try one
English.
time and I'll instantly hand it off.
Yeah.
I'm like, they ain't gonna get it.
Because some of them actually do. Some of them have been to the United States, dealt with Western, but majority of the population haven't really been outside the country. So,
Yeah.
first question, if they didn't catch that, then just expect or assume that they can't understand you.
Next thing is getting around. We kind of discussed that one. You want to hit on it again?
Traffic, transportation can make getting care more difficult. Having your own vehicle is more convenient, especially for emergency. Although traffic will still be there. Now, about 10 p.m., traffic slows down, I think.
But feasibility too. We paid 500 a month plus about 280 in gas because gas is super expensive here. So you're looking at right there almost $800.
There are a lot of benefits of having your own vehicle, whether it's rental
Or you like
or
sitting in the passenger seat, curled up in a ball with a blanket, listening to
I'm
music,
giving them the
staring at your phone.
factors so they can
Well, you know
understand.
what I mean? I'm giving you the facts, not the factors.
For for
But
instance, trying to catch bus or jeepney or tricycle sucks
it's really hard.
because people literally run in it like sardines.
And the
Um,
safety of the driver. The drivers, tell them about the drivers too, bad.
the drivers are not considerate for the safety of their passengers at all. And when you speak about it, you have to slow down. You're responsible, you're accountable, whatever, whatever. They don't understand you anyway, and they blame you lashing out just because they're used to being a reckless driver.
People don't care about their lives. I'm sorry. I got a
Um,
lot invested and I got people that depend on me.
Now you can try to catch cabs. That's an option. That's on a table, but there we call that I think metro. That's like what will you call that in the US, babe, so they can
Criminals.
understand. There's like a dashboard where supposedly you're being priced. Now standard rate I think now is 50 peso, I'm not sure, but as soon as you get into that cab, you're priced at flat rate, right? That's default. But as soon as you start running, some of them are criminals. Um, they, I don't know how they manipulate that, but they somehow do. So if you don't have your personal vehicle, just get a
Grab.
grab
You
cab
got good air conditioners. The people are always so much nicer.
because it's a company owned. They have standards, they have protocols,
Vehicles are
they
always
have
clean.
you have review and all that. And they have fixed price that you can see unless you just want
It's
to
a fixed
modify it.
price.
Yeah.
And if you have to give or take, like where the entrance is at, they don't mind. I give them a tip. Well, Maria gives them tips because I don't do any of that. Because when it comes from my hand, they expect so much more. And I have to work for that money just like everybody else. But yeah,
Now you have to consider your location. Not Grab will be accessible to all locations. Like for us, because we're at the very back portion of the main road, it's just not accessible. We have to go to the landmark at Gaisano somewhere and
because
then
of the neighborhood we live in, I'm
yeah.
translating the English because of the neighborhood we live in. We live in a compound that is there's basically poverty surrounding us all the way 360. And versus that, and in addition to the terrain to get into here and being able to locate it on the map or in the GPS, it's an obstacle.
Yeah.
So
So
she has to order it, then get them on the phone to finish up directions. Hold up, we're almost done. We got one more section and we'll be finished with this one.
Be
Finally,
prepared, stay informed,
yeah,
have good health insurance, know your options, and always listen to your body.
the Philippines is a beautiful country with amazing people. But when you get sick, being prepared makes all the difference.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah. It'll put your relationship to the test because you want the best for each other, but you're dealing with the obstacles and you're stressed, and all that factors end up building up. And you're like, we can't get the, you just want to go get it done. United States, you go right to there, everything's there. You know what I mean? It's just, remember, it's got its own system of unorganization. It's chaos that you've got to manipulate through. And it ain't just me that gets pissed off. Okay.
Oh, another
I don't
thing,
even know the language, and I know when she's up there barking like a damn dog on a countertop.
because some
And
of
I'm
them
like,
are
this ain't gonna
resistant,
turn out
and
good.
you
I'll
know,
stand up to let them know I'm with that one. So don't put your hands
some
on her.
resistant, even though you already know what you need. But
A lot of them are
and
jealous of her because they see my worn out, old American ass. Dude, I am 55 years old. There is nothing to be jealous about her being with me. Yeah, obviously, I'm well and able, right? I'm a truck driver, arrogant. There ain't nothing getting in my way, but at some point, this hunk of shit is going to break down, okay? And then I'm going to be dependent on her. So that being said, they don't see that.
I need to pay.
She's got to pay.
Another thing, some guards at the hospitals or wherever location you're heading to, sometimes they have this leaflet or list of contacts, like for this doctor, for whatever
But how
doctor,
valid are
right? They're not always updated. So if you're in an emergency, you don't have to call them. I would suggest just run there. Regardless, sometimes the doctor will
they?
be
She
there.
says run.
Sometimes
It's
they,
hot. You're going to walk. You're going to try to find a trike, a bike.
because it's gonna be just a waste of time, and you could end up dead anyway.
A lot of people are hospitable. We do run across people that try to help us. We're not just trying to give you the negative, but when you're sick, you don't care who's nice and who's whatever. You need help. You need assistance.
Yeah.
So, your health, I've been dealing with this last 4 days, 5 days. She's having to hold my hand and foot, but you know what I mean? She's trying to make me happy and, help me with my physical problem right now because she knows when I'm not sick, get out of the way. I go the other direction. I'm literally dragging her because I want to go do this. I want to do that. We need to do this. But that's the type of alpha personality that I am from the United States. But I'm blessed. I got a wonderful woman that has no choice. She knows she's in prison to the day she dies or to the day she kills me. And so that being said, we got to get working relationship, but we just want y'all to understand what you're dealing with when you come here. If you don't have somebody in your life and you come here individually, oh shit.
So to make a summary,
We've seen people on the street with swollen legs, in very bad shape, and it would be only just a twist of circumstances that would put that person on their back, and somebody could literally rip them off, take full advantage of them. It would be horrible. The outcomes would be horrible.
So for hospitals, if you need to go to hospitals, I would suggest Cebu Docs. I'm not
You
sure
need
it's stronger.
somebody to watch your back. Because, like at home, you're at home, you got family, comes and goes, right? It's not going to be like that here for you. You are on your own.
Yeah.
Like even her, she didn't have family here when she was in the hospital, and I was here for her. I mean, I guard dogged it. I mean, I was a guard dog. You know what I mean? I laid on the porch just like a dog does at the foot of your bed, and I watched everything everybody said, did, moved. I questioned it, make sure they were looking at for her best interest. And if I didn't happen to know, because I don't know protocols or some of the meds that they're using here, I'd look it up. Don't get lazy when it comes to your health. You can be lazy any other time. Without your health, you don't have nothing. Anything else you got to say,
Health
baby,
is
before you
wealth.
pee on yourself?
Yeah. Transport, it's best for you to have your own convenience, whether it's emergency or not. What else was there? Your patience when it comes to wait time. If you're impatient, good luck.
Even getting food, the hospital food made an all-time high of tasting like a damn. I should have ate the plate and the spoon.
Because I just had the
What did you have
surgery.
anything on that menu
No,
that you liked?
no, I ate just the
So,
porridge
but
because I
she made
needed
sure that I
something.
made it to Jollibee's and everything else to make sure that she's going out. She's going out in style.
Make sure that you're financially ready.
Yeah.
That's the big factor of everything. Without the money, the hospitals will not care. Nobody will. So
And we actually had to put a down payment, by the way. I think we put down $1,000.
I'm not, yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
we pay some money down too. See, some of this stuff's coming back to us as we speak to you. But anyways, but that being said, that's all I got to say, baby. Give them your love and goodbye. Oh, make sure to go to our website, truckdrivernation.com. If you're going to come here and you don't have an actual way to work from home, then we obviously do. It's in logistics, being a freight dispatcher, working from home.
George did not meet when you're not part of the program. It's a waste of time. And you'll understand, you will never understand until you're in that situation.
Yeah.
So, anyway, reach out to us Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time, 210-343-1118.
You
Our
also
email,
got your QR code on the homepage.
okay, he's putting the QR code to make it easy for you. Scan it, and then if you don't have that specific app, whether it's WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever, if you don't have it on your device, it'll take you to whatever device you're using, whether it's Apple Store or Android, to install it, and then reach out. Email support at truckdrivernation.com, website truckdrivernation.com. I gotta pee. Bye.
Bye bye.